In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make this lovely crocheted wall hanging. You can make this in all your lovely bright rainbow colours, and we've added some tassels on for some extra colour because frankly you can't have enough colour when you're looking at rainbows. Hello, my name's Karen Stangram and welcome to Conquer Crochet, the channel for tips, tricks and techniques for conquering your crochet. Everything I talk about in today's video will be linked in the descriptions below. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss a single stitch. So if you're keen to get going with this video, give me a thumbs up and let's do this. So for this rainbow wall hanging, I'm going to be using Starcraft Aran in red, orange, yellow, green, blue and purple. I'm also going to be using a 5mm hook because I'm using an Aran. If you're using a double knit, you might want to use a 4mm hook. The smaller your hook, the smaller your wall hanging will be, and vice versa. I'm also going to be using a needle to sew in my ends, and I'm going to be using a pair of scissors to cut off my ends. So we're going to start off with the purple. So I'm going to start off with the purple. I'm going to start off by making a magic ring. You can do this in whichever way you prefer. And I'm going to chain 2. 1, 2. And then working into the magic ring, we're going to make 12 half trebles. That's UK terminology. and US terminology, that would be half doubles. So yarn over, insert into the ring, yarn over, pull back through. You should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 on your hook. So that's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and close my ring up a little bit, 10, 11 and 12, and then pull the ring as tight as you can, and then we're going to count round those 12 to make sure we go into the right stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm going to do a slip stitch just to join up that circle here. We're going to chain 2, and we're going to do a half treble into the base of that chain, so into that stitch there, because our half treble is going to count as, our 2 chains are going to count as a half treble. So we want 24 stitches in this round, so we've got 1, 2. Then we're going to do 2 half trebles in each stitch all the way round. Yes, that was 2, and 2, 1, 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 and 2, and 1, and 2. Okay, we're now going to do a slip stitch in the top of that 3 chain. So 1, 2, 3, going through both parts there, and we're going to make a slip stitch. Okay, so if we fold this in half now, you can see how that's going to be the purple part at the bottom of the rainbow, or the violet part, depending on how you're doing. I couldn't find an indigo and a violet, so I'm just doing one purple. So to finish off this round, then we're going to pull our yarn through, cut off the tail and tighten up. And I'm actually going to do my weaving in as I go, because it's easier to do it as you go rather than trying to do it at the end. Okay, it doesn't need to be too tight. If you weave things in through the back, because this is going to be in half, you're not going to actually see any of the weaving and is less likely to pull out anyway. It's not like a garment that's going to be worn and pulled about a lot. Once you've got it on your wall or in your window, it's just going to stay there. Okay, so making sure we've got the right side facing us, we're going to choose our next colour, which is going to be the blue. So for the next round, we're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to insert our hook into any of the chains from the previous round on the purple and put our slip knot back on. And then we're going to attach our yarn and chain 2. We can then tighten up our tail. Okay, so for this round we're going to be increasing again. So we're going to do 2 half trebles in the next stitch. That's 1 and 2. 1 half treble in the next stitch. 2 in the next stitch. And 1 in the next, 2 in the next stitch, and 1 in the next, 2 in the next stitch, and 1 in the next, 2 in the next stitch, and 1 in the next. 2 in the next stitch, and 1 in the next, 2 in the next stitch, and 1 in the next, 2 in the next stitch, 1 and 2, 1 in the next stitch, 2 in the next stitch, 1, 2, and 1 in the next stitch, 2 in the next stitch, oops, try that again, doesn't matter if you drop stitches, so we had 1 in the next, so this is 2 in this one, 1 in the next, 2 in the next stitch, oops, and 1 in the next. And then we're going to join to the top of our 3 chain here to finish off that circle. So when we pull that yarn out, we can see our rainbow is starting to form. So I'm going to do another round of blue. So we had 2 rounds of purple, 2 rounds of blue. So I'm going to chain 2, and this time we're going to do 2 half trebles in the first stitch, 1 half treble in the next, 1 half treble in the next, 2 half trebles in the next stitch, 1 half treble in the next, 1 half treble in the next. So we're going into the next stitch, so yarn over and make a half treble, so that's 1 and 2, and then 1 in the next stitch and 1 in the next stitch, 2 half trebles in the next stitch, 1 in the next stitch and 1 in the next stitch, 2 half trebles in the next stitch, 1 in the next and 1 in the next, and continue this pattern all the way around. So 2 half trebles in one stitch, then 1 half treble in the next and 1 half treble in the next. So continue all the way around and I will meet you back at the end here. So pause the video now. Okay, so as we did with previous rounds, we're going to make a slip knot. Again, do it in whichever way you prefer. Choose one of your half trebles from the previous round, insert your hook, insert the green, and chain 2. And tighten up. Okay, so this round we're going to do 2 half trebles in the first stitch, then we're going to do 1 half treble, 2 half trebles, 3 half trebles, 2 half trebles in the next stitch, 1 half treble, 2 half trebles, 3 half trebles, 2 half trebles in the next stitch, 1 in the next, 1 half treble in the next, oops, let's try that one again, 1 half treble in the next, and 1 half treble in the next. So it's 2 together and then 3 on their own. Okay, so continue around here and I will meet you back at the beginning. So pause the video now. So I'm just coming up to my last 2 stitches on the green for this round. So I'm going to do slip stitch into the top of that 2 chain, and then I'm going to chain 2 for the next round. So 1, 2. So in this round then we're going to do 2 half trebles in the next stitch. Then we're going to do 1 half treble on its own, 2 half trebles on its own, 3 half trebles on its own, and 4 half trebles on its own. So that's 2 half trebles together, 1, 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3 and 4. 2 together, 1 and 2, and then 4 on their own, so 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Okay, we're going to work that pattern all the way around the outside, and join me when you get back to the end here. So pause the video now. And coming up to the last one of my greens, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch into the top of that 2 chain, pull through, yarn over, pull through so we can cut off that end. Just going to quickly hide that end away. just so it's out of our way. These don't need to be too neat, just if you didn't want them hanging around, we can get rid of them. So now we have even more of a rainbow shape, and we fold these in half, and let's move on to the yellow. So with the yellow again, make a slip knot in whichever way you prefer. Choose one of your stitches to start off in, it really doesn't matter which one. Join our yarn and chain 2. Okay, for this round we are going to do 2 half trebles, 1 and 2, and then we're going to do 5 single half trebles on their own going around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, try 4 again, 4 and 5. So 2 together, 1 and 2, and then 5 on their own. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 2 together, 1 and 2, then 3 is on its own as a 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So continue this pattern round, 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and I will see you back at the end. As I say, don't worry about this bunching up, it's all going to disappear when we fold it over anyway. So pause the video now. Okay, coming up to the last one on the round of yellow. So I'm going to slip stitch into the top there, and I'm going to chain 2. So as you might have guessed, this next round is going to be 2 half trebles together and then 6 individual half trebles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 together, 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and we're going to continue all the way around, 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So pause the video now and I'll meet you back here at the beginning of the round. Okay, so again making sure we're on the right side, taking our new colour of orange, going to make a slip knot, going to insert into any of the half trebles from the yellow round, and we're going to chain 2. We're going to do 2 half trebles in the next stitch, 1 and 2. And then we're going to do 7 half trebles individually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, then 2 together, 2 half trebles that is, together, and then 7 individual half trebles. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 7, and continue all the way around with 2 half trebles in the first one, 7 individual half trebles, 2 half trebles together, 7 individual half trebles, and I will meet you back at the end. Pause the video now. Okay, so I've just come to the end of my orange, so I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the 2 chain from the start of the row, and I'm going to chain 2. Okay, we're going to do 2 half trebles in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then we're going to do 8 individual half trebles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Then we do 2 in the next stitch, and then we do 8 individuals again, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and again 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Then we do 2 together, and we continue this all the way around, so 2 together, then 8 individual, 2 together, 8 individual. So pause the video and I will meet you back here at the start. So I'm going to do a slip stitch into the top of that last orange round and fasten off. Let's move the orange to one side for now, so you don't need that till later. And then just quickly going to fasten away my ends. There we go. So we can just put it into the oval shape that we need. And we're starting to look more like a rainbow. So we're going to add on the red next. So we make a slip knot. And we join to any one of our half trebles from the orange round. And we chain 2. Okay, so this round we're going to do 2 half trebles, 1 and 2, and then we're going to do 9 individual half trebles. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 I've got what's commonly known as a yarn bath here that's fallen out of the middle of my yarn. I'm just trying to sort that out. There we go. So where were we? 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 and 9. 2 together, 1 and 2, and then 9 individuals. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8 and 9, she says. 9. Okay, so we're going to continue all the way around doing 2 together and then 9 individual. 2 together, 9 individual. So pause the video now and I'll meet you back here where we started. It's coming up to the end of my first red round. There's 8 and 9. Going to slip stitch into the top of that 2 chain, and I'm going to chain 2. Okay, so we now have our basic shape ready. Now if yours is curving like mine is here, that's absolutely fine. You can just pull it into shape. But we want it to sort of curve down because rainbows aren't straight across the bottom, they are curved. Okay, so this next round is going to be slightly different, and I'm going to start my curve where I finished off here, so that I can now join up my 2 sides together. So we've done a chain 2. And what we're going to do is continue doing half trebles, but we're just going to do single half trebles all the way round, but we're going to go through both stitches. So we're going to yarn over, insert into the first side, insert into the second side, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. So go through the first side, through the next stitch on the second side, yarn over, pull through both sides. Try that again. So yarn over, insert through the first side, insert through the second side, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. So yarn over, insert through the first side, insert through the second side, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, insert through the first side, insert through the second side, yarn over, pull back through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And we're going to continue this all the way around the outside of our rainbow. Now if you wanted to, when we get towards the end, because obviously we're making a little sort of pouch here, you could use some toy stuffing and stuff it in so you've got a slightly 3D rainbow. If you wanted to maybe have it as more of a like a mobile that's hanging over a cot, so it's a bit more like a toy, that would be quite a nice thing to do, just to stuff it. You could also stuff it and then put some little eyes and a nose on, or little eyes and embroider a smiley a smiley mouth. That would be something nice to do. So you could do all sorts of things with this rainbow pattern, but we're focusing today on making the wall hanging. So I'm just doing my half doubles, going through both sides all the way round. So if you want to pause the video whilst you do your half trebles, and I'll show you how we're going to do the next part of our wall hanging. So pause the video now. So I've just come to the end of joining my rows together, so I'm going to yarn over and pull through and finish off. Then I'm going to take my needle and I'm just going to hide away that end, weaving it away inside of the rainbow. As I said, I'm not going to do the power of 3. Okay, so here's our rainbow so far. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is to fold it in half again. We want to find where the center is for the top. So there's my center stitch there. So I'm now going to take my red, and it's sort of, if I follow it up here, sort of comes in between the two. So I'm going to just practice hanging mine there. It feels like it's in the middle. So I'm going to insert my hook, make a slip knot with the red, or you could do this with a completely contrasting colour if you wanted to, or you could just add some clear hanging like fishing wire thread. So I've joined and chained 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now depending how low you want this to hang in your window or on your wall, 15 is quite nice just to give you a little bit of gap to get your hook into. But if you're wanting a bigger gap or you want it to hang down more, obviously add more chains. If you want it to be less obvious, you could just have a couple of chains just so it hooks up there. So I've done 15 stitches. I'm then going to slip stitch into the bottom the same stitch and pull through, and then I'm going to fasten off. And then sew away these two ends, hiding them behind, hiding them behind the yarn, hiding them behind the rainbow. I'm going to hide these ones this way, I think. There we are. Okay, so there's the basic rainbow with its hanger. Now if you wanted to, we can add tassels, which is what I'm going to show you how to do next. So with the tassels, depending on which yarn you've used, so I don't want to give you a measurement here, so depending which yarn you've used, you're going to start from the centre where you've got your hanging chain and go to the centre of your magic ring. So that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, and we want to make 4 of these, so measure that along. So that's 1, 2, 3, and another one is 4. Don't worry if they're not exactly the same length, we can always trim them off at the end. Okay, so we've got our 4 and we fold them in half as accurately as we can. And taking your crochet hook, insert into the end of the red, put all of your 4 pieces that are hooked over and pull them through. So I pull them through there. So you've got enough of a loop. Then yarn over and pull them through all of your loop, trying not to drop them, and then tighten up your knot. So we're going to do the same thing with the next one. So we're going to have 2 reds, 2 yellows, because we did 2 rows, and then coming back and finishing with the 2 reds at the end. So I'm going to take my red again and go 1, 2, 3 and 4. Cut my yarn, and then I want 4 of this length. So I've got 1, match them up, and 2, and 3 with the first one makes 4. Make sure they're equal and sort of make a loop at the top there. Taking your rainbow, insert your hook into the gap between the stitch that's sort of along the bottom. Put all 4 pieces of yarn on your hook and pull them through that gap. Make sure you've got enough of a gap here to pull them all through again. So yarn over the 4 bits that are there, and then pull all 4 bits through that loop that you've just made, and then tighten up at the bottom there. So we've got 2 red tassels. So I'm going to do the same with all of my tassels now, going across to the other side. So remember, measure 4 lots from your centre of your magic ring to the top of your rainbow. That will give you the length of 1 piece of the tassel. Then measure out 4 lengths of that tassel, and then we insert into the next stitch with our hook, and then we pull through. If you need to rewind the video at any point, feel free to do that. So I'm going to carry on with mine now, so feel free to pause the video and I'll meet you back at the end. If you're finding hooking your tassels through a bit tricky, if you just hook the first part through, so you've got them all through here, and leave a nice big gap, you can push your thumb and fingers through, grab the tassels and pull them through the loop, and then tighten up. So that is our wall hanging with our tassels. These also look really lovely hanging from a window. You get little sparkles of light come through from the outside. I really hope you found today's tutorial useful. If there are any information that you need to find out about this video, have a look in the descriptions below, where I post all the links to any freebies and other videos I think you might find useful. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed this video, to give me a thumbs up below. Don't forget also to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you've enjoyed it and you'd like to see more of my tutorial videos. There are 2 other videos on screen to help you on your crochet journey, and I will see you over there. Thank you so much for joining me on this one, and happy hooking!